Anyway, so if anybody misses it, I can send it on to them afterwards.
All right, brilliant. Thanks, Caroline.
Okay.
Okay. Well, listen, thanks very much to you all for joining us this lunchtime. I won't keep you long. Basically, how this came about was I was chatting to various of you at different conversations around sort of the year ahead and how things look. And we were touching very much on sort of virtual careers fairs coming back, face-to-face, virtual, all of this sort of stuff. And I know that most Irish higher educational institutions use TargetConnect. Most Irish HEIs are obviously thinking now about the summer and next year. And I wasn't sure the degree to which you all knew about the events functionality in TargetConnect. So over the last 2 years, we've developed an awful lot of event functionality in TargetConnect. Everything from, you know, a simple skills workshop or an employer presentation right up to a full virtual careers fair. I also know that many of you have used third-party providers for virtual careers fairs the last couple of years, people like Graduate Land and Career Fair Plus, which is brilliant. So I thought, right, now would be a good time to show you the functionality that is in TargetConnect, which will hopefully then enable you to think about the choices that you have going forward and what you might want to do with your event planning and thinking as we go into the rest of 22 and beyond. And particularly because I'm very conscious, obviously, of budgets and so on, and all of this that you're about to see is free in TargetConnect. So lots of universities across Ireland and also in the UK are using TargetConnect now for events right the way through to full virtual careers fairs. So I thought it's really important that you would all know what is free and available for you all who use TargetConnect, and then you can make a decision on whether that's something you want to use or whether you want to stick with the third parties or whether you want to make combine both. Use TC for certain types of events and then maybe Graduate Land or whatever for a big centerpiece one. So anyway, that was the context to it. So with me today I've got Lee Frith, who is the account manager for all of the Irish universities and IoTs, and then Graham, who's one of our customer success managers. So I'm just going to hand you over to Lee now, who's going to just give you a bit of context into a couple of use cases, people who've already used TargetConnect for virtual careers fairs, and then Graham's going to give you the full run through. And then, but please ask any questions in the chat. We'll have Q&A. I want us to be free and easy, so stick your hand up if you've got anything you want to ask or see. Just let us know, or equally stick it in the chat and we can deal with things there as well. All right, over to you, Lee.
Thanks very much, Mark, and good afternoon to everyone. Hope you're all well. So not too much from me at this point, actually. So in a moment, or in a few moments, Graham actually is going to demonstrate some of the functionality within TargetConnect in terms of how you can use it and what it looks like within the platform, both from an operator view and from a student view. But as Mark mentioned, we've actually had a lot of institutions already use TargetConnect's built-in virtual events functionality, one of which is probably quite relevant to the audience here because it's Trinity. And we're actually delighted to have a couple of the members of the Trinity team, Elaine specifically, who's actually agreed to come on. Hi, Elaine, and share a bit of feedback in terms of their experience, what went well, what sort of challenges they had, and hopefully that will help to give a bit of flavour around the demonstration that Graham will give following that. So thanks again, Elaine, for joining us, and over to you.
Thanks very much for the introduction, Lee, and for the opportunity to share some of my knowledge with working with TargetConnect on our recent fair that we had hosted in January. So over here at Trinity Careers, I work in partnerships, and so I work very close to the events, and we had run careers fairs in September and October on Graduate Land, and then had decided to use TargetConnect for our January summer internships fair. And we made this early decision to use TargetConnect instead of Graduate Land for this particular fair because based on our experience from previous years in running this fair, our summer internships fair is smaller. It's meant to be smaller with less employers and students attending. So it made sense from a resource point of view to us to use the event functionality at no additional cost to us to host this event. And we were already fairly familiar with the platform amongst our team. So setting up the event itself and the registration for students and employers from an operational standpoint, was fairly simple and straightforward. I think when it came to students registering for the event, this was probably the most streamlined feature, because students can simply log into their existing My Career account and register at a click of a button, or several clicks of buttons. And so we could also promote the event itself via email targeting, all on the same platform, which was really handy. Then the plus side of this was that we saw a larger number of registrations from students earlier on than we typically would have experienced hosting the event on another external platform that required students to set up a separate account, which can be a barrier to registrations. So due to these high number of registrations, however, we did actually experience a lower turnout rate from students than is typical of online events, but we don't suspect that this has necessarily to do with the platform itself, but is more or less in line with the pattern of participation we've been experiencing at online events in general in recent months. So we conducted a post-event student survey, and the majority of students had given positive feedback about the event and the platform itself, mainly citing that it was easy to use and useful to be able to browse employers and their opportunities prior to the event. So there's a feature, which I'm sure Graham will go through later on, where you can open the event hall in advance of the event, and as long as the employers have set up their stand, students can browse that in advance and decide which companies they actually want to engage with on the day, which we thought was useful. So we did experience a few challenges prior and during the event, mainly on the employer and the exhibitor side of things. So firstly, I think there was just a general lack of employer familiarity with the system. And so although we had produced a fairly detailed guide for employers on setting up their stands, there was a significant amount of handholding and back and forth with employers to get them set up. And we suspect this could partially be due to the fact that employers had multiple events that same week, and they had to set up their stands from scratch on TargetConnect instead of copying it over from, say, Graduate Land, which is a feature that's available over there. As well, I think there were certain user interfaces on the employer side that can be improved, just so it's super clear in a step-by-step way how they can set up their stand, so we don't have to have so much back and forth, I think, with the employers. When it came to the different functionalities, we made a decision early on not to use the one-to-one pre-bookable meetings, because my colleague, Jackie, who's actually on the call here, had run a separate speed dating type event earlier in the year, and they had experienced that the 10-minute time slots were not really appropriate for this event, mainly because when employers ran overtime, say they were getting really into the conversation, it created some issues for students subsequent to that to join the call. Again, maybe this is something that Graham can kind of talk through a bit later about the technicalities of this feature. So we limited this event to just group chats. So students would be able to join group chats that various employers are hosting. It could be about a specific topic or just kind of a general open group chat. So I think it'd be really great to see this one-to-one feature develop further to accommodate for any kind of natural tendencies for meetings to run over time. We also conducted a post-event employer survey with mixed feedback about the platform. Some employers were happy enough, but others would like to be able to target students at the event, because the way the platform is set up now, the communication is sort of one way in that it is up to the students to reach out to employers when the event is live, but there is no way for employers to see who's online and reach out to them. So this meant that smaller or lesser known employers received little to no engagement at the event. So it'd be really useful for employers to see live statistics about the event, see how many students are online, and filter by attendees by degree, for example, so that they can target their comms and take initiative to reach out to students and start conversations. And it would also help students themselves discover organizations that they wouldn't have otherwise considered speaking to. So in addition, employers had commented that they would like the ability to use a text chat function for students that prefer engaging in that way. They don't like to kind of have video meetings. I think that would be really useful. And then also, we'd also like to see the option to host live presentations, as this feature, when we had this option on Graduate Land to host at our careers fair, this was a very useful feature for ourselves and for employers to have a main virtual stage where students gather at the start of the event and throughout the event. It's useful for us as the event host to highlight some employer presentations. And I think finally, we'd like to see features added to the platform that lends itself to sponsorship. Although we didn't have a sponsor for this particular event, it'd be quite important to feature for our future careers fairs, to be able to highlight sponsors and also direct traffic to their live presentations and their stands. So looking ahead to next semester, we are looking to bring our fairs back in person. If we are forced to run these events completely virtually, fingers crossed, hopefully not, we'd like to see these features developed further before we consider hosting our larger fairs on TargetConnect. With that said, we are remaining positive that we can do an in-person fair. So we are likely to use TargetConnect's event hall feature as a digital brochure to complement the in-person fair, because we felt that this feature actually works really well. So that's really it for me. I'm happy to our team is happy to be available to speak to you if you do have any questions when you're considering exploring different platforms. Why I say my team is because actually this is my last week with Trinity Careers. I'll be moving on to Trinity Global, but again, there are a number of us amongst our Trinity Careers team that we're working very closely to organizing this event, and they'll be happy to kind of take any inquiries that you may have in the coming months. Thank you.
Amazing. Really appreciate that feedback, Elaine. And yeah, I think it's important to address and to air those those challenges that you had and make people aware of them. Not least us here at TargetConnect, because they are things that we're certainly working on, and a few of those sort of bits of feedback are certainly things that Graham can perhaps address in terms of any potential workarounds, or indeed whether they're included in our roadmap for the remainder of this year ahead of the next academic year. So I can see there's a few questions in the chat already, which Mark is replying to, so do feel free to carry on asking. I'll jump into that chat in just a moment as well, but I think at this point it'd be good to hand over to Graham, because Graham is going to show us a little bit of a demonstration of the functionality.
Indeed. So I'm going to say, hopefully my connection is going to hold out here. I have had a little bit of trouble over the last couple of minutes dropping in and out, but I think I've got Ben is lined up to jump in and save things if I suddenly disconnect and disappear. But yeah, what I've got set up here at the moment is a little demo that can run us through, hopefully a bit of an idea of how we can run these events and what TargetConnect looks like for students, employers, and a little bit from the operator side. So I will start by sharing my screen. And we'll then give this a go. So what I've got here on my screen at the moment is me logged in as a test organisation. So what we're going to do with this employer is we're going to book them on to an AHECS career fair that's happening today. So again, all I need to do in order to do this is I can go to events, search for events, and from there, I can see there's the careers fair today. So let's go ahead and sign up to that one. And again, I can see here my description of the event itself. I've also set up a little bit of additional content targeting, the employers, so the students can't see this, but telling them, telling the employers who's coming along, which organisations would be suitable for, coming and presenting here. If I scroll a little bit further down, what I've done is I've set up different stands. Different levels of stand, and what I can also do is I can even charge different prices for the different for different service plans. So if I had a charity, I might give them a free premium stand or a free standard stand, just by using some of the built-in features there. For now, for this test organisation, I'm going to just middle of the road. I'm going to pick the premium stand, and again I can set these names and costs to basically whatever I'd like. I can also choose the person that's going to be receiving emails regarding this. So I'm going to send the emails to myself. I can then try to book on. And I'm now being offered the chance to set up some promotional text that's going to be displayed to my users. Now, the idea here behind this is that this is a way for an employer to tell students who are attending this event why they're here. So, for example, if you've got like Barclays Bank coming to an IT fair, it might seem a little bit unusual that you've got, one of the world's top banks coming to an IT fair. But maybe they're here trying to recruit IT or computer science students. Excuse me. Maybe they're trying to recruit computer science students for their IT graduate programs that they've got. And what this allows them to do is this allows them to put in some specific marketing and promotional materials for for this fair. So again, they can put in some fancy formatting. They can format text and headings and insert tables, and if they've got a little bit of knowledge with writing HTML, they can even embed some HTML code in there. But what we can do here quickly is we can say that the test organization is if we could spell, that would help, is that gives, oh geez, oh my typing is absolutely atrocious. I promise I'm better than this normally. It's just with everyone watching. A chance to. There we go. So we can put in some promotional text that tells the students why they should come and look at their stand, what they can get from coming there. We also then, once we've written our content there, we can then come down and we can start entering in, who is it that's actually going to be attending this event, from our organisation. So I'm going to say that I'm going to attend. Unfortunately, my names haven't quite taken effect, so we'll also bring along test who, and about 20 minutes ago was called Sam Jones, but for some reason we've forgotten his name. But there we go. So we've got Graham, we've got Sam Jones, or somebody formerly known as test, are coming along. And everybody that we add that's an existing contact here from this list will be able to log in and set up, one-to-one schedules and one-to-one chats and basically interact with students. Although there is this option to add other representatives, anyone who's added this way won't be able to log in and set up their schedules. The reason we've got this is, for example, when we're back to running physical fairs again, this allows you to basically keep track of who is it that's coming from the organisation that's coming on site. But just because of the way that the logins and everything need to work, we have to create, or we've got to have these people known with passwords and able to log in order to have their schedules set. So I've added my 2 people, and I can now agree to the data policy, saying that I'm only allowed to use this information for the purpose, the student information for the purpose of this event. And I'm basically agreeing to that. I'm not going to sign them up to marketing emails that they've not necessarily agreed to. So with that, I've submitted my booking, and I can now go back to the operator view. And when I jump into my list of booked organisations, let's go back into my event. We'll look at my list of booked organisations, and we can now see there's test organisation with a provisional booking. Now I can click in to the organisation, I can view the details of that, I can check, yep, this all looks good, everything seems fine. And I can either approve the booking from here just by clicking Actions Confirm, or again, if I go back to where I was, I could even just confirm it directly from the organisation booking details page here. So there we go. They're now booked and confirmed. If I show all of them, we can see here there's test organisation. They're now confirmed. I will switch back to that organisation, and if I now go across to my events, that should now be showing, there we are, is now confirmed. And what I can do is I can then go to Actions and then Manage Schedules. Now at the moment, getting back to here, getting into this Manage Schedules, this button is a little bit kind of hidden away, and we're aware of that. And this is something that the development team and the product team are working to improve and basically make that Manage Schedules button more visible and easier to spot and easier to access. But when I'm in, I can come here, I can see my team that are scheduled to be at the event. I can edit their details. Oh, I'm not an imaginary test person, I am a CEO and founder. I can give myself a quick bio about myself. So I can say I am the CEO and founder of Test Organisation and take an active and then again, I've got 280 characters to fill there that I can use. I can then provide a link to my a LinkedIn profile. Now, I've got no idea if that's actually my LinkedIn profile or not, but for now, let's pretend it is. So I can type in my LinkedIn profile and hit save. And there we go. I've now got my profile set. Again, you saw that I've also got an avatar in position there. And with that, what I'm now able to do is come into my schedule management page. So I'm now able to start setting up when I'm going to be available to speak to students. And I've got all these time slots here. Again, this is the whole duration of the event split into these 10-minute slots. And I'm able to either provide a link that will work for all selected slots, or I can select to provide an individual link for each different slots. And it just depends on which platform I'm using, whether I'm using Zoom or Google Hangouts or Teams or whatever. Now, the reason that we're asking, or we get the organisations to use their own video conferencing platforms, is that they're going to be confident with them. They're going to know that that works on their system. They're not going to have problems with firewalls and security policies that will prevent them from installing various web plugins for different conferencing platforms, because that was something that we saw coming up in some of our earlier versions of, when we were doing our initial design work. So we thought, right, give the employers their own, the option to use their own platforms, and a lot of problems, with employers getting access and being able to interact were dealt with and resolved. So, for example, we'll pretend I've pasted in my Zoom link for this meeting here, and I'm then going to say, right, I'm available from 12 right the way through until 2:30. There we go. And all I need to do is click these buttons to say when I'm available, and that's automatically saved as I'm going through. And again, if I go back to team members, I can also do the same for, the one that was Sam Jones. Again, I can stick in my, can stick in his link, click the time slots that he's available, and there we go. From that, once we've got our team set up and we've got our team schedule arranged, we can then go into the group chat. And so the team members, these are one-to-one chat sessions that we've created. So it's one student books in and has a meeting with whichever person it is that's here. With group chat, what we can do is it's basically a one-to-many. It can almost be used for hosting little mini webinars or hosting different talks. So what we could say, for example, is we could have a talk here which is going from 10 till 11. Join the HR team who will talk about how to make your application stand out. And then from say 12 till 3, or sorry, 12 till 1 rather, we can say you can chat to some graduates who have recently joined our graduate programme. And there we go, fix some typos. So that's fine. So I've got my text description, and this is what will appear at the top to kind of let the students know what the agenda is. I then provide my link. So I've provided my Teams link, and I can then start setting up what times that link is going to be clickable. So again, I said from 10 till 11, and then from 12, where did I say, till 1 o'clock. There we go, add times. And when I save that, it's because I've not made that a secure link. When I save that, there we go, we can see a little preview of what students will see on that chat. Again, under About Us, I can see the promotional text that I had in place earlier on. Under Opportunities, I can start seeing what jobs I've got published on the platform at the moment, and I can choose to start highlighting those to the students. So it may very well be that the Customer Success Manager, maybe I don't want to really kind of push that out to these students that are attending this particular event. But my database analyst, my HR consultant, my system support analyst, they are great jobs to be promoting to students. So I'll only
Can
highlight
I
those
interrupt you briefly? Siobhan just has a question there. Siobhan, do you want to come in while it's still fresh?
Sorry, Mark, it's just to let Ben know that I can't see his screen if he's meant to be sharing it with the participants. I'm familiar with what he's saying because I've met him several times, and it's like the show and tell. You click here and you do that and do the other. At the moment, I can only see yourself, Lee, Elaine, and the AHECS admin, four tiles.
I can see Graham's screen.
Other people are saying they can see it. Maybe it's just the way I've logged in, and I'll log out again. It might just be.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll stop sharing and then reshare. If not, it may be.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. Again, it's a good time to interrupt, especially if I'm talking through things.
At least everyone else is saying that they can see it, so that's good.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there, I've got it now. Thanks, Ben.
There we go then. Sorry about that. So we've got our jobs sorted out now, and again, this is saved as I click, so I don't need to save anything. What I can see is what is saved at the moment. And under engagement, this is where I can go to start getting some information about how students are engaging with my stall at this event. So when it loads, I can then start seeing how many students have come to this event, how many people have come to my stand, how many of those visitors are unique. I can see details about my one-to-one sessions, about my group chats, and about any opportunities that I've got. You know, how many I'm promoting, how many times they've been saved, how many times they've been viewed. So I can see all that before the event, during the event, and even after the event if I want to log back in later on. So that's all there, and employers can access it, as I say, during, after, before, whenever suits them. What we also do is for each of the metrics that we're showing here, there's a little question mark at the top right of each box, which basically says this is what this number is. So again, for one-to-ones, the total number defines what that is, what's booked, what's available, and what's joined. And so again, these numbers are hopefully clear to employers as they're as they're there and as they're working with it, and it's a really easy way to see how how students are interacting with their stand. So that's everything pretty much from the employer's side at the moment. What I'll do is I'm going to quickly cheat, and I'm going to jump to a different employer, and I'm going to just show you a little bit of what their stands look like, what their schedules look like once students have started to book on. So I'm going to quickly log in as Mary Proctor. I'm going to open up her schedule, and we can see here that I've got a couple of students have already booked on from 11 till 11:10. I've got Ash Catcham, who's studying computer science and graduating or completing his course in July 2022. And I've also got William Riker, again booked into that 11:20 slot, again studying computer science and graduating July of next year. And if these times were now, I would be able to click join and just join straight in. A little tip that we've been given some employers is if they hit Control P, they can print this out or save it as a PDF, and that way they can get an idea of what their day is looking like. Of course, any student who then books on after they've printed it, that information, those details won't be included in that printout. But if you do it on the morning of, and you're already fully booked, then yeah, there hopefully shouldn't be many changes there. Again, I can also show you with a little bit more data what engagement can look like. Again, we can click on a show of breakdowns of the jobs once they've started to be saved and clicked on. But there we go. So that's pretty much life there from the employer side of things. What I'll do now is I'll jump across to the student side. So on the student side, or I'll do that unless there's any questions, sorry. I'm also forgetting that I can't see the text chat here. So if anyone's got any questions, please do shout at me.
Graham, just on that one, I think we've dealt with a few in there. Maybe yourself and Ben might talk. Can you talk about how employers might target specific cohorts? Yep. Of students?
So again, the method of targeting your different cohorts would really be coming from your About Us, from that promotional text, and really using that to draw students in. So yes, that would mean that the students got to click on their stand first, but that About Us area, can be filled with they can link images, they can embed some videos, and they can make these look as engaging as possible.
When we looked at this, we actually did quite a lot of thinking about what information the employers got on your students, because they're your students. So Gavin Connell asked a good question there about what the employer can see. So we went through quite a large discovery process, so they can see the student's name, their year of graduation, and their subject of study. Because without that, you don't have a great basis. That's what Graham is showing on screen now, that you know about. But they can't do they don't know any more than that, because that's all part of the sort of data protection policies that we've built into the platform functionality. They can't do direct targeting per se, but they could obviously engage with yourselves to promote opportunities through your own bulk emailing functionality and so on. So as we say, we've put in lots of opportunities, as Graham's showing you there on screen, for signposting and so on, but we've been quite careful about the restrictions, I suppose, we've put in enabling you guys to have your own controls about who can contact your students about what and when.
So indeed, and what I'll do as well, and shortly I'll try and show you how you can start driving traffic to various employer stands. And I think I did see a question earlier on about, could you put QR codes and links to an individual employer stand? Yes, you absolutely can. And again, if we've got a little bit of time, I'll try and show you how you can do that, how you can at least get the link to that stand.
Hi, yeah, it's Marie Laffey here from Anyway Galway. Yeah, I actually asked the question about the targeting because at the moment employers, I suppose what we used to in graduate land, the students can set up their profiles and employers can target them directly from their profiles and still have conversations going on afterwards. And that has proved very popular with the employers that we're dealing with and students. Yeah. So it's that direct targeting that I was really querying because, as I said, it has proved very successful for us. Yeah.
And again, it can be it can be a very effective thing, but in order for us to make it as easy as possible to get IT sign off, especially with GDPR concerns, we've had to limit and balance carefully what information from students we do share, and with the various employers, because some universities have very strict data sharing policies, and so again we've tried to have that balance between sharing nothing and then giving free access to all data. So it does.
Yeah, but I think if the student is uploading a profile and you have it, it's open from a GDPR perspective that they click that they're saying yes to having their data shared.
Yeah.
It would just, for us, it was a big thing that employers actually like to be able to target them.
Yeah. And that's entirely fair enough. Yeah. So what I'll do quickly here is I've pulled up this event from the student's point of view here. Again, I've got my event description again where I can see what's there. If I wanted to, I could embed videos in here. I can put images. I can put links out to other resources. And again, I'll show you that I've done just that in a moment when I enter the event hall itself. As I scroll down, I can see all the exhibitors that are attending this event. I can start filtering by the different employability sectors that they employ within. So I could say, for example, I only want to see consulting companies, or let's see, what did I click there? Hospitality, sport, leisure and tourism. And again, I can filter that down. If it was a multi-day event, I can also filter by which days the employers are booked on. But for now, again, I can see all these different employers. And again, as I scroll down, I can then see the event data policy, so showing exactly what I'm sharing. And then when I try to book on, I'm explicitly agreeing to that data policy. And now that I've joined up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to join in, I'm going to enter the event. I'm going to view the event hall. And what we've got here is I've created links that take me directly to some of our partner organisations, that have sponsored this event. So again, I'll click on one of these in a minute, but this will take me straight through to the profiles for either Procter & Gamble or Microsoft. What I've also done as well is I've got a little link here saying, why not visit the career service and ask us any questions. And that way anyone who's got technical issues can come in there, they can speak to you, or basically I've set that up as a group chat that they can join in and speak. Again, we can give resources like how to prepare for a virtual careers fair. I've embedded a video, and I can also put links out to other articles, like how to stand out to employers, and I can click on those and they'll take me out to whichever resources I'm linking to. But again, if I go across now to exhibitors, again I can see all the exhibitors that are there, and I can click onto them. So again, if I click onto, let's say, Microsoft, I can see there's their about us, there's their promotional text. I can see their group chats, their one-to-one chats, and I can choose to book onto one of them. What I can then do is, under opportunities, I can go and I can see which jobs they've got. So I can click on it and I can say, oh, a graduate statistical programmer analyst. That's brilliant. And I'll save that and I'll apply to it later on. Because at the moment, I've maybe got a group chat that I want to go to, or I've got a one-to-one coming up soon. So I can save this to look at later. And I can find that back from my dashboard, my homepage as I'm logging in. Or equally, if I really desperately want to, I can come out of the event and go directly to the details page for that job. And okay, I can also completely break things. I don't know what I've managed to do there, but there we are. Let's log back in. So I've normally we would have expected to have been taken to the job, the details for the particular opportunity I just clicked on, but for some reason I've done something a little bit daft. And we're trying to log in. There we go. We're back in. And again, since I'm here, we can see there's that there's the Microsoft and Procter & Gamble jobs that I've saved that were of interest to me, so I can click back into those and view them. But let's go back into my event. So I had my, where did I put you? Back to my events. Where am I? There we go. Sorry about this. I have completely had my train of thought derailed. So it's taken me a little bit of time to get back on track. There's my AHECS one. Oh wow, we've really done a good job of losing that one, haven't we? It's because, okay, I've definitely done something very wrong. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just quickly grab my Leap link to that event, or my share link that I've got, and I'm going to just jump straight back to it, because I don't know why that's not showing up for my student there. So there we go, we're back to our event. I can enter it into the event again, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump in to see this Procter & Gamble stand. And again, that's taken me in, just as it did when I clicked on Microsoft's view, but it's dropped me right into their profile. And again, I could click chat to team. I can see what upcoming sessions there are. Again, because I booked that 1:10 till 1:20 slot, if I tried to book, telling me, oh, you've already got a one-to-one at this time. So we're trying to prevent students from double booking. And equally, when I click on another slot that somebody else has booked, I'm getting helpful messages to tell me that slot's not available. So what I'll do for now is I'm going to book this 1:40 till 1:50 slot and book onto that. And what will happen there is, again, that's highlighted for me, and that will now show up for me. If I go back to my event hall, I can now see that coming up under my upcoming, my one-to-one chats. And again, we can see here, there's my chat with Mary Proctor. I've timed that quite perfectly, that we saw that the link wasn't live and it was saying it was 1 minute to go, and now it is. So in theory, if I join this, I can agree to go out to the preferred video chat provider. I can then use Teams, okay, for Microsoft Edge. I don't know why it's wanting to do it on Edge, but let's do it anyway. And in theory, what should happen very soon is I should then be able to start joining the Teams chat with this, with this person. So there we go. We're going to allow that. Okay, and again, because I'm already using my, my video and my audio, it's not going to let me do it twice. But here we go. So I'm Wesley Crusher. I'm going to join the event, and in theory, there we go. I have now joined this event that we are in here. So I'm going to just quickly jump out of that. But again, you saw there that what I was able to do is I was able to join a Teams meeting or a Teams link that was there, and basically I would have been able, in this case, I would have expected to be joining a one-to-one chat rather than a group chat, but the idea is exactly the same. Again, and when I've got my booking here, I can see there was Mary Proctor's profile, a link out to her organisation, and a link to her LinkedIn profile. And again, that's all there and ready for me to click on. So that's pretty much live there from what a student can see. And again, it's maybe worth pointing out as well that when I booked that one-to-one session with the student, I would have received an email with a calendar invite saying, here is your one-to-one booking, one-to-one chat session with Mary Proctor from Procter & Gamble, or here is your one-to-one with Graham Nimmo of Test Organisation. So I've got these calendar invites come out to me, so that I know I can get reminders, from my phone or from Outlook or whatever I'm using. And again, that way, just I know that I need to come into my schedule, and I can then come and click on the join links. So what I can do as well, if I jump out from here, it was mentioned about having different ways of promoting different employers, different talks, or different people to the students. And again, in this event hall section, that's where I can go in order to update that information live. So I can change anything I want in here. So for example, I could say, right, well, let's get rid of this video that we've got. So we no longer want the target jobs preparing for the event because, well, the event's now live. Let's save it. And the next time that my student goes back to the event hall, that video will then have disappeared. So what that allows me to do is that would allow me to say, this employer has got a talk coming up in 5 minutes. Go and check it out. Or why don't you go and see this employer? So you could use your operator view to see, for example, under data reporting at the event, which organisations have had very little footfall. And you can then start driving, pushing students to go there by putting links to their stands into that event hall. And again, to get the links for their stands, all you need to do is go to one of your booked on organisations. So again, in this case, I'll go to Procter & Gamble, and I've got this share link. And if I just click my little copy button here, I can then use that, whether it's to generate a QR code that somebody could scan. I'm sure I saw a message about somebody mentioning that earlier on. So I could stick that into like a brochure or a flyer on a physical, in a physical place, or onto Twitter or to other social media platforms. Or in the way that I had for this event itself, I could go back to my event hall. Oops. I could go to my event hall, and I could then stick in that link. Oops. So just paste in my link. Let's open it in the same window, why not? And there we go, save that. And the next time my student goes back into the event hall, we should now have, oh look, why not go and look at Procter & Gamble? And I can click through and I can go to their About Us. Or if I wanted, what I can do as well is I can, with a little bit of magic being worked with the links, you could even link them directly out to the Chat to Team page, like I did with the Careers Fair one, or the Career Service page. So that takes me directly out to the Chat to Team page, where I could then join that group chat. So with the use of those links, we can then basically push students to either look at the different jobs or look at the different organisations, and really help them get their engagement and help them speak to as many students as they can. Now, I think that's pretty much about everything I've got here to demo for you, but there are also other, there's other reporting tools as well. So again, I mentioned that data side under data reporting. There are Looker dashboards as well that you can view that will show you effectively this information, so that you can slice and dice that in different ways for your own analysis after the event. Or if you're using advanced reporting, you could import that into any, whatever business intelligence tool you're using, whether it's Power BI or Tableau or similar, and you can then use that and try and mine for interesting learning that you can pull out of that to help you with driving further student engagement, or seeing what it is about, which different employers are getting the good engagement, and then you can investigate, well, what is it they're doing that's different to try and help everybody else see more students.
Thanks, Graham. Yeah, just to say, so, as I said at the start, the idea really was to showcase what's in TargetConnect in terms of the different functions and what's there free in the platform that you already have, and I suppose to remind or reiterate of some of the aspects that are there, some of the aspects that we've delivered and built, and some of the aspects that we're still continuing to evolve, because there's going to be virtual events and physical events and hybrid events that are always going to be on the agenda. Are there any specific questions or anything that Graham covered that you'd like to have another look at, or that maybe wasn't clear, or any sort of marketing's really key? So, I think some of the landing pages, the event hall, anything like that anyone got any particular issues or questions that you'd like to see covered while we have the last 10 minutes or so?
Just while anybody might be plucking up the courage to ask a question in front of everybody, there have been a few questions asked in the chat already, and I'm going to collate some sort of general answers, and we'll circulate those so everyone's got a view of them after the call as well.
And I'll say as well, my apologies for not having answered those questions as I went that have come into me. I couldn't see both the questions.
What we've done is we've I posted earlier in the chat that you can all see some of the links as well to support materials. It's really important, obviously, that we've got lots of support materials that you can use to also share with your employer exhibitors, or any other exhibitor, quite frankly. So we've got lots of we've got 17 1 to 2 minute employer training videos that are linked at the top of the chat there. We've also got a manual that can be downloaded and branded with your university branding that can help you communicate to both the students and to exhibitors about how to use the functionality, and there's loads of information on the community forum as well. And the thing to note, I think, as well, is that with so many Irish universities using TargetConnect, and we all know that so many exhibitors and employers going to so many of your fairs over and over, then the familiarity, I think, with the flows and with the way the platform works and how to set up and maximize the opportunities in the platform for the employers will build very, very quickly. And we've already heard that from some of the people that Gavin and the Grad Island team talked to. So I think that's an opportunity as well to obviously be able to get that familiarity quickly with the employer base across Ireland. So just worth noting that point as well.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Graham. Lee, definitely has given me some food for thought. Okay, I think I'm just speak personally from a UL perspective. I think for the fair, it has a lot of things I could use, but I think the sourcing thing is the key one for us, right? Because employers are going to demand it from us, right? To be honest, yeah, because they've had it for 4 iterations of fairs, and it is definitely something that they're saying. A virtual kind of thing is nothing without it, right? Okay, but I definitely think that the application, what you have there, is definitely something we could do for say for employer events, on if we want to do kind of webinars instead, right? Okay, I think it's probably a good opportunity because it's not just an hour thing. They can have their team available online as well, right? Okay, so I think there are definitely applications we could use it for. I think I know you mentioned the GDPR issue earlier on, right? Okay, but I think how Graduate Land, I know, is doing it is just as part of their sign up, right? Okay, well, let's just say the students sign away their rights, right? Okay, because they know what they're getting involved in here, because it is around a mutual coming together, right? Okay, so that's where the sourcing is not an issue, definitely from a UL perspective, because the student actually signs in and agrees to participate in that part of it. So I suppose if that was the key concern, I suppose it could be that the events or the virtual activity is kind of a standalone box, we'll call it, right? Okay, that the student has to register differently. That could come around that, right? Okay, I suppose.
No, thanks. Really interesting thoughts, and I agree with you totally on the sort of GDPR issue. You know, I think it's an evolving space, and it's a really interesting one around careers. I mean, you know, you guys are mandated to support the students. You've got to be allowed to support the students, and the students have got to be allowed to undertake activities that can get them the outcomes that they're looking for from their education and so on. So no, that's something we're always thinking about. I think the other thing that I wanted to say as well is that, you know, this is free functionality in TargetConnect, and we've built quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's not a standalone virtual career fair platform. It's not intended to be, and you know, so I think there's definitely always a case for thinking about those. That's why we've always been keen to integrate with third parties. There's definitely a case for, you know, if you want to make something really special, or you want to do something very different with a particular event, then a different platform might be the choice for you. You know, we'd never try and mandate everyone to go through a single funnel. So I think that's just I hope today has given everyone an understanding of some of the functionality and some of the opportunities that you have within TargetConnect that you've already got, and it's free. You know, maybe then to think about other anything else that you've got coming up in terms of your events. Everyone's thinking about how you differentiate events, you know, to get the student engagement and buy-in.
Can I cut across you then, right? Okay, because
Please do, yeah.
I think it's a good point you make, Mark, right? Okay, because every service, right, okay, has had to pay for this additional function, and I think the universities, the institutes, whatever, are in line that they're all moving to hybrid, and they are supporting, I suppose, from a financial perspective. So if that's something that Connect is thinking, or TargetConnect is thinking for a premium thing, I don't think that would be an issue in the future, right? Okay, is what I would say. So if you were, I know, and I do appreciate that this is integrated into what we have, and that is appreciated. But if it was something that, there was kind of two things. One is the sourcing. The second part is, if I have to raise a ticket on a day for an employer who has a concern, that's, you know, I would pay a premium if I had somebody who's going to fix things in the moment, because that's what employers will look for, because they're saying, I'm missing students, they're meant to be on my stall, or whatever the case is. So if the feature of a sourcing thing was something that needed to be funded, I think I won't speak for everybody, but I think most people will be in consensus that that would be expected, if you get my gist.
For what it's worth there, Gavin, on that issue, if you've got an issue live on the day, if you we've got the support team are there on the phone. So if where there is something urgent, yeah, pick up the phone, give us a call, and it gets sorted there and then where we possibly can.
I think, so Graham, I think, Graham, what I'm sorry to cut across again.
Yep.
We'll be having a hybrid fair.
Yeah.
I won't have time to go on a call. That's what I'm thinking. Where on the graduate land thing is, there's this thing there, chat, and I can just, the employer just knows, jump straight in that there's a problem there. Okay, so it's more that the employer's engaging with you than Gavin relaying a message down the road, like, you know. So
sure, fair enough.
But that is a premium feature, and I am aware of that, and I think it would be worth it. Okay. Maybe for the roadmap. Okay, Mark's frozen there. Okay, as I said, premium, right?
Okay. He did mention to me that his connection in the office wasn't very good, so it looks like he has unfortunately dropped off. Yeah, he just mentioned his internet's gone. But I think we're probably pretty close to the end, and you know, if anybody else has got any other questions, feel free to shout either now or drop us an email. As I mentioned, I'm going to collate some of the feedback in the chat, and I'll send that round so that everyone's got a bit of a view of where the product is, and we'll include in that roundup the links to all of our documentation areas on the community site as well, so people can get any information thereafter.
Super.
Excellent. All right. Well, have a great day, the rest of the day, and yeah, take care, everyone.